Humans of the cardboard, we are in here with Infinite Forbidden. This set is officially in rotation. It is confirmed to be an Exodia set. I did a review on all the new Exodia cards and the 2 new support cards for Yugi's archetype from Legacy of Destruction in the last video, so go check that out if you're interested in that. Today, though, we're talking about future expectations and predictions for this set, though. I actually was already eyeballing making a video like this, but Konami, just with the super early reveals, with the Exodia stuff and the cover art and all that, kind of came out from under me and kind of took that away from me, unfortunately, because that definitely would have been a part of this. I said before this set, right when the name got announced, basically, that this has to be an Exodia set. So many people told me it had to be Zexal or Vrains based off of the pattern Konami had been going with, but I said, guys, I hear you. The pattern is the pattern, but also, if they name a set Infinite Forbidden, I can't believe that there's a more likely archetype than Exodia. And here we are. So I would have had that in my prediction list, but they're also... what they did in the previous set in Legacy of Destruction, they actually made 2 more Yubel cards from the set prior's cover support from Phantom Nightmare, and they just confirmed, and they showed the 2 new cards for Yugi's cards as well. So that was another thing I also wanted to talk about. That was basically already shown, so that's already in here as well. Basically, looking even further, that does kind of give us a good idea that hopefully Konami actually does at least two more Exodia cards in the next core set, and hopefully that even pushes them even further, because the support is actually a legit thing. This could be a legit rogue deck going forward. We'll see. And then some if the support's crazy. Excuse me. But anyway, I have a bunch of predictions / expectations for this set going forward. We're going to run through them here. I want to get my thoughts out to you guys on where we're at and just kind of see where our expectations kind of align overall going forward, because we probably have a couple weeks before Konami really gets into the full swing of like revealing stuff for this set, but I think it's good to go over this early so we know where we're all at. So the first thing we have to address is the main lore avenue that we're in right now. It's the Diabell Star stuff. Before her, it was Visa Starfrost. Before him, it was Albaz and Ecclesia. Before them, World Legacy. Am I missing one in between there? I don't think so. But yeah, really cool stuff. This came out like three core sets ago. They've made a new archetype based around it, just like when a new lore comes out every time. It feels like every core set has 1 or 2 new archetypes to help expand around it. In the second set, we got, or I guess in the first set we get Snake Eye. In the second set we got is just Phantom Nightmare, I guess, right? We got Goblin Bikers. In Legacy of Destruction, I don't believe Rika or Tenpai Dragons are supposed to be Diabell Star Lord. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, if one of those actually is supposed to work in. I don't believe they are, so I don't actually think we got a new archetype in Legacy of Destruction. So my expectation would be we're probably going to get a new Diabell Star Lore archetype here. Just excited to see what direction Konami goes in next for that story, for that lore. And then the other thing would be just more cards in Legacy of Destruction. And just like we saw with Visa Starfrost, just every core set, even if there was no new archetype, no new anything, there would just be a random spell or trap that's sometimes good, sometimes cope, and it would just have Visa Starfrost in the text, and it would make it searchable via other cards, but it would just do something, and sometimes it was good, sometimes not. But there was just something. We saw this with Legacy of Destruction. They made the new Diabell's Girl and the new trap that like summons one from deck, like some kind of Sinful Spoils synergy, something like that. I do expect to see something in that realm in the next set, in Infinite Forbidden. So that's definitely what I want to see for Diabell Star. Next up, Snake Eyes. Now this is one where we have to definitely put our hand on our chin and go, are we going to get more? You never know. We're at that point where Konami kind of decides to go one set longer or hold off and leave it where it is. Most of the time for archetypes that are revealed in a core set, they'll get one wave in the next set, like a second wave in the next core set. Then they'll sometimes decide to do a one in the next core set, and then usually they cut it off. I think it's been done. It's been done before for sure, where they go to the next core set as well. That's where we'd be with Infinite Forbidden. Not that Snake Eye needs any more support, so I'm not really hoping for this one that much, but it is just something I want to float out there. They did technically get support in Legacy of Destruction, but it's not very good for what it is, but just something to keep in mind. We could see more Snake Eye cards down the line. Goblin Bikers, I hope there's more Goblin Biker support. I really, really do. It would only be their third wave of cards, and their second wave is like so bad. They got 2 new cards. The Exceed monster is terrible, and the trap is fine, but they already had a decent trap, so it's like, okay. So I really hope Goblin Bikers get like a decent last wave. 2 new cards, maybe one more actual good extra deck monster, and then maybe one more main deck card. I don't know what to ask for, but something decent, please, Konami. Do not let this archetype just fizzle away like Spriggans did in the Albaz lore. All right, next up, the Mascarena lore. I think this is a pretty interesting one, and one that's kind of going under the radar. Konami just loves to just slide some Mascarena cards in everywhere, right? Keep in mind, Mascarena ties in with stuff like S-Force and Psy-Frames, and there may even be another 1 or 2 archetypes as well that kind of fall in there as well. But if you look at like the last like year to 2 years, just off the top of my head, I mean, we saw S-Force support not that long ago. EMP Grim or Meow Mine, the translation is Meow Mine, in Phantom Nightmare. Prior to that, we got SP Little Knight. Earlier in 2023, we got the new normal trap card that just summons any level 2 or lower like monster from both players' decks. That has ties into like the S-Force Mascarena lore. There's a bunch of stuff, so nothing crazy, but Konami just seems to like to slide 1 card in, and usually it's actually a pretty decent card. I mean, we're talking IP Mascarena, we're talking SP Little Knight, we're talking about Meow Mine, we're talking about a trap that actually didn't see that much play, but I don't think it was a throwaway card. Some actually pretty interesting stuff, so I would not be surprised if Konami slides 1 more cool Mascarena card into this set there. Next up, something Illusion. I have some expectation that hopeful, and this is a little bit hoping, a little bit expectation. We've gotten Illusion stuff in like every core set, but that it's not always been that amazing. So my hope is that we get some sort of, whether it's a new archetype or support for an older archetype, that gives Illusion another deck, right? The only way to play Illusion any way, shape, or form competitively is just Chimera. You make a use of some of the Chimera cards, and now you play Nightmare Apprentice. She's a good extender / consistency card. Well, now we're kind of hoping for the same thing. I just want a new archetype that like is okay and gives us like another home, another thing that like adds a little more presence to Illusion. It's a new monster type. It should have more presence than this. Chimera, which doesn't even fully feel like an Illusion deck. It feels more like a Beast deck than like an Illusion deck at this point. But definitely I would like to see that. Hopefully Konami expands on that. Ashen. This one is not a prediction at all. This one we know is coming. We're getting 7 more Ashen cards in the TCG version of Legacy. Oh, well, I guess this one would theoretically be for Legacy of Destruction, not Infinite Forbidden. I'm sorry, I mixed that up here. That's not too big of a deal. I know we're talking about Infinite Forbidden, but we should also like address this anyway. 7 new cards. My expectation is that in Legacy of Destruction, we'll get 7 new cards. They'll be underwhelming overall. It won't be a good enough archetype in the long run, but people are going to be really excited about it. I hope Konami does a good job on it, but they've literally been like 0 for 5 in the last like 5 archetypes that were TCG exclusives. But aside from this, we will be getting a new TCG exclusive archetype in Infinite Forbidden when we get to the TCG version. 7 new cards for it. We have no information on it at this point, but that's just still something to keep in mind, that there will be another guaranteed new archetype in there. Earthbound support. This is one that I'm not confirmed on at all, but just keeping your head up on this one. We got the Fusion in the set prior to Phantom Nightmare. We got Earthbound Fusion in Phantom Nightmare. We got the Maze of Millennia, the whole like Earthbound wave for the Earthbound Servants. Pretty cool engine, pretty actually decent engine competitively, especially with Runics. I wouldn't be surprised if Konami just tosses a random card in later and just keeps that momentum going with the Earthbounds. I don't expect it to be anything crazy. I think it would be one card if anything, but that's something to keep in mind because they've kind of been showing us that they're moving in on that. Voiceless Voice. New archetype from Phantom Nightmare. It already got 2 cards in Legacy of Destruction. Not going to be confirmed or anything if we're going to give more support or not, but definitely live to get another card or 2 in Infinite Forbidden, so keep an eye on that. Same thing with Horus. Already out, got this wave, didn't get wave in Legacy of Destruction, but totally might get a wave in Infinite Forbidden. Sometimes Konami skips sets like that, so not impossible, maybe not super likely, but it's there. And then we have the most recent deck build pack. So Valmonica got 3 cards in Legacy of Destruction. It really helps them, but I'm still not convinced they're actually a competitive deck. Centurion, this deck actually is fully set up now to for Konami to ban Calamity, and that way this deck can actually play its own actual style and not just be Calamity Turbo, which is really cool. This is their first wave Legacy support, same thing as Valmonica. They are definitely live to get another wave in Infinite Forbidden, even if it's just 1 card. And then Memento. So Memento's the weirdest one because Memento was the only one from the deck build pack to actually get support in Phantom Nightmare. Got 1 new monster, pretty useful monster for the deck. And then they got more support in Legacy of Destruction. So I'm not sure if they're going to get another 3rd wave with the other 2 or not. But I'm definitely not going to rule it out. So if you're a fan, I would say hope that there's more, because I think this fusion support is good, but it's not all the way there. But just something to keep in mind. And the last thing, as far as our predictions go for Infinite Forbidden, is a new Metamorphosis card. Doesn't have to be Metamorphosis specifically, because that's what this card is. This card is supposed to be the opposite of Metamorphosis, and that's really cool. But we've seen this card kind of done over and over again in the last, it feels like 10 core sets, right? We saw stuff from as far as fusion deployment and duality and I can't remember the names of all of them. Fusion redeployment. Then you have Mutamorphosis. I mean, I'm talking, those 5 cards are from the last 10 sets at least. So Konami's been trying to put a new spell like this in every set. They're usually a weird extender that has a weird requirement, but it always makes you put your hand on your chin and go, maybe there's a deck that can really break this card. They all have that essence about them, right? Branded made good use of fusion deployment. Nothing's really made any amazing use of fusion redeployment, but people still read those cards and go, this is a card that in the right deck, in the right hands, this card could be crazy, right? So I expect 1 more card like that next set. I don't know why they wouldn't. They've been definitely moving forward on that train. I think that's totally reasonable to expect. But that's everything. Looking at the most recent sets and kind of the patterns Konami's been on, that's kind of the stuff that I have the most reason to expect to come in Infinite Forbidden. Really cool start to the set though. Honestly, I'm pretty hyped for it, and I'm always hyped to see what other new archetype / legacy support / new generic cards Konami's going to throw out here. Obviously, I'll keep you up to date when any of that stuff comes out. I don't expect much of that for Infinite Forbidden specifically in the next, until a month from now probably. But I will obviously keep you up to date on that. So subscribe to the channel for more stuff from me. Let me know your thoughts down below on Infinite Forbidden. What other expectations might you have for this set that I didn't mention here that you think might be worth throwing in? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.